Okay, podcast friends out there in Top 5 Podcast land. Obviously, you are listening to the Top 5 Podcast, and I'm very excited to welcome you back to another thrilling, fantastic, opinionated, but inclusive episode where we discuss all things pop culture according to the theory and practice of Rob Gordon as John Cusack as Rob Gordon in High Fidelity, which is what inspired this whole fucking show. And I'm going to stop blathering now because we're joined, as always, by my sister and my favorite co-host, Annie. Hello, Annie.
I'm great. I'm awesome. How are you, big sister?
I'm excellent. I meant to ask you earlier about, because, Annie is a very skilled gardening girl, gardening woman. She grows tomatoes and pickles and not okra, but peppers, all kinds of things. And I can't grow wildflowers out of a packet. And so I'm wondering how long it's supposed to take before the wildflower things start popping up, because it's been 2 weeks and I'm thinking they're just not going to happen because they're too old.
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. All right. We got that question out of the way. What is our topic today? Because it's not gardening. I know that.
Hey, we're going to start with the top 5 favorite country songs that were released in the new millennium, meaning they were released from the year 2000, sometime in the last 23 years.
Magnifique. And I'm here to tell you straight up that mine are all going to be probably the year 2000 through the year 2010. Because by the time, that's not true. In Redlands, I was into country music. So maybe they will be 15 years-ish worth. But they sure are fun. It, to this day, still surprises me that I got into country music at all. So I kind of resisted it when we first moved to Waldron. And, the country music that was popular then was still kind of in the old school realm. And you hadn't really started to get big crossover hits. And I think the popularity and the touring that was happening wasn't the same either. So now you have these huge, like, mega blockbuster country stars that aren't just people that are recording other people's songs either. They're writing their own stuff. They're doing all kinds of crossover stuff, and they're making videos, and it's, it's fun. Country music is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm kind of, all of mine are in the first decade. So we could almost say this is, the first decade of the new millennium. That's when most of my country listening occurred.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, it's because with the advent of Apple CarPlay, I can play whatever I want, whenever I want. And so I'm not relegated only to the radio stations that are available in my vehicle. And up until when I still had my Chevy Cavalier, all I had was a radio. I don't even remember having a tape deck in there. So hence I was super down with what was being played on the radio because that was all I was listening to. And then, of course, you have to buy it on iTunes back then. And now I just pay my monthly special Apple Music subscription and I can listen to whatever the hell I want.
Right.
Okay.
Me too. Sure. Okay, I'll go first. My number 5 was one of the very first songs released in the year 2000. So February of 2000. I'm going to go with The Chicks, Goodbye Earl.
Nice.
I had so much fun. I thought the video was very well done. It was funny, but also very, the song is, if you've never heard it, it's about a woman who's a victim of domestic violence, and her best friend comes and they get rid of the abusive husband by basically they kill him.
They take him down.
And they get away with it. So I don't condone murdering in any way, shape, or form. But it is a nice, the song is fun. It's about, women trying to empower each other. And I like the chicks, but the song itself the music is good. It's silly, but also in the background, you're thinking to myself, this is a serious topic and they're making people talk about it. So I also like that it invoked conversation in people about domestic violence. So that's my number 5, Goodbye Earl by The Chicks.
That's a good one. And I love that whole album, the Fly album. I would say it is one of the most whimsical, I guess, country music. So the year 2000 for the year 1999, all of the album of the year nominees that year were female artists
Oh, wow.
or bands led by a female performer. So you had the Dixie Chicks, the Chicks with Fly, you had Madonna with Ray of Light, you had Shania Twain's Come On Over, you had Garbage, I think it was the 2.0 album. And then you had Lauryn Hill, and I'm still to this day, I'm still infuriated that Lauryn Hill got the record of the year, album of the year Grammy for that, because I was pulling for Madonna pretty hardcore. But I think everybody got a Grammy that night, so it was okay. But yeah, that is an exceptional record, and it is a super duper fun song. Okay, my number 5 is I Go Back by Kenny Chesney. And I think I love this. Okay, so the song opens with some great acoustic guitar and a bit of the build. And so it's, as soon as you hear the first couple notes, it's like, oh my God, it's my favorite Kenny Chesney song. I got to turn the volume up and I'm going to sing at the top of my lungs. But what I love about this is, it's a song about music. It is about, we all have a song that somehow stamps our life, but he's going through the phases of, Jack and Diane was my high school song, and then Keep on Rockin' with My Baby and Only the Good Die Young. So he goes through a few phases of his life, names these songs that, had huge influence on him. But it's a little emotional too, because he talks about a friend that passed away, his best friend from 16 years. And that, when he listens to Only the Good Die Young, it really causes movement in him. So I love everything about this song. I love how upbeat it is. I love the message. I love the songs that he references, because I have memories of those songs in unique and interesting ways too. When I think of Jack and Diane, I think of Hurt So Good. And I think of that summer we were getting ready to move from Park Ridge to Arkansas. And I remember thinking that our neighbor, Mike Quinn, thought that John Cougar was Sean Cassidy. And I cannot remember how we had to convince him that he was full of crap. But so, yeah, that's my number 5. I Go Back, Kenny Chesney, which I think is from the When the Sun Goes Down album.
Okay. Well, so it's funny. Kenny Chesney is kind of a repeat offender on a lot of our lists. He shows up a lot. So he's my number 4.
Woohoo!
So it's The Good Stuff.
Oh,
song about a newlywed husband who had his first big fight with his, newlywed wife, and goes to a bar, and the bartender basically talks about, what's the good stuff in a marriage. And basically, yeah, just, it's about married life, burning supper and and then, you come to find out that the bartender's wife died of cancer. And, it's just like, you have to love every moment, even, getting through the fights. And that is the good stuff. So yeah, it should be on the list, songs that make me cry like a baby. So when Keith and I got married, I'd never heard that song before. And we were on one of our road trips, and it was one of his favorites. And it was it pretty well, not that we never burned supper, but it certainly did put things into perspective in our first year of marriage. So yep, The Good Stuff, Kenny Chesney.
That is a great one. And now that I am thinking about this, I need to write down all of your songs so that I can remember them. Hang on, we're going to edit this out really quickly. You started with
Goodbye, Earl.
Okay. So we're back to Moi. And okay. I'm at number 4. Okay. So my number 4 song is from Martina McBride's Greatest Hits. So it was a single released on the Greatest Hits collection. And this is When God-Fearing Women Get the Blues. And I love the angst that's in this song. And I love the, people get out of my way because I'm feeling down and I'm going to go kick some ass. I love when God-fearing women get the blues, there ain't no slap dab or telling what they're going to do. Run around yelling, I got a Mustang, it'll do 80. You don't have to be my baby. I've stirred my last batch of gravy, and you don't have to be my baby, and going on and on and on. And this song is just hilarious. It's got a little bit of angry to it, but it's got a little bit of fun and got a little bit of like, look out, people, because I'm pissed off and I'm on a tear, and you just better get out of my way. I'm gonna kick some ass. And, Martina's got one of the signature powerful voices in country music. And I could not do this list without one of her songs. But my favorite two Martina McBride albums are albums from the 90s, which every now and then I'm kind of like, what? Are you sure that song didn't come out in the 2000s? But no, they didn't. They came out in the 90s. But that's my number 4.
All right. I like it. I've never heard that song, so now I got to listen to it. Okay, we're at my number 3. Number 3, and he's shown up on other of my lists as well, but Darius Rucker, All Right.
Oh, yes, that's a great one.
Love it. And another, again, it's all the country music in some way, shape, or form is related to my husband because he listened to country his whole life, and I didn't really listen to it until I married him. But it's when we got married, we didn't have a lot. We shared a very, very small apartment with a little tiny kitchen, and we had a lot of debt to pay off. So all we had was each other and the kids. All Right kind of gets to I don't need no fancy, I don't need anything fancy. I just need the love of my life to be near me, basically, is the message that it sends. I think that was the big breakout song for Darius Rucker that launched him into country music.
Mm-hmm.
I was so happy because he's such a sweet man. But anyway, All Right by Darius. It just kind of, again, another song that puts love and life into perspective. And that's, you don't need the caviar, you don't need the French Riviera. I'll get the roof over my head and the woman lying in my bed. So,
and I think there's some spaghetti and maybe some Patsy Cline.
Yeah. Don't need no 5-star reservations. I got spaghetti and a cheap bottle of wine.
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
I love Darius. I'm a little disappointed in myself that one of his songs didn't make it on this list, but I do have it on another list. But that song and another Darius song are one of 2 country songs that Charles will actually listen to without running from the room screaming. He's not a country music fan, but those 2, All Right and the other one he will tolerate. Super fun. Okay. My number 3 is from Jody Messina's Delicious Surprise album, her comeback album, which they even wrote this in Apple Music, like comeback album defining like, oh, I went to rehab and now I'm back and I'm going to write all about my sobriety now. But she covered a song that Joe Diffie had written and recorded called My Give a Damn's Busted. And I like this song because it's about the whole, like, I can't put up with your whining anymore or any person's whining anymore. I just like your crap. It doesn't mean anything here anymore. So I would love to be able to say I have empathy for you, but I'm sorry, my give a damn's busted. And I like that. And what I like too about the song is every time she goes into the chorus, she's got a new, like, I want to care. I want to feel something. Let me dig a little deeper. Nah, sorry, nothing. And then she says, nah, still nothing. And then she says, nope, man, sorry. It's just funny. And I really like this whole record. I talked about Delicious Surprise as one of the songs I could listen to over and over and over again for the rest of my life. But this whole record is really pretty good and very personal. And I like Jody Messina's a interesting artist. She's done some great work over the years. So that is my number 3.
Okay. I have never heard that song. So another one. This is going to be a good playlist.
It's going to be a great playlist.
Yeah. We're at my number 2. My number 2, and my dog Levy agrees with me, is People Are Crazy by Billy Currington. So,
okay, that's one I don't know.
Okay, so the gist of the song is God is great, beer is good, and people are crazy.
Okay.
So, and he sits down, he starts talking to some old man. He's sitting next to an old man at the bar, and they're just, they're swapping stories, talking politics, blonde and redhead chicks, old dogs, and new tricks. So, I mean, just a guy who gave another guy the time of day and spent some time and listened to his stories and had a chat with him. So that reminds me of my husband as well, because that's the kind of guy. And then, that he finds out later on that the man passed away, and he was a millionaire, and he left his fortune to some guy he barely knew.
Who we talked to that day at the bar.
Yep.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah,
I
so,
love that.
how would you know that you're sitting, talking to the kindness? So the kindness of strangers, or
Mhm.
random acts of kindness, is what it gets to. But it's the sweetest song, and the end, just the message of God is great, beer is good, and people are not. People are crazy. So it's a really sweet song. So
Oh,
if
that
you have
sounds fun.
to listen to it this afternoon.
All right. I don't know a lot of Billy Currington stuff, although I do have Billy Currington on another list. Just not today. Not this list. I'm at number 2, right?
Yep.
Okay. So my number 2 is also a Chicks song. This was the album that came out post We're Embarrassed That the President Comes from Texas fallout, but they got theirs. Yes, they did, because this album and a handful of songs from this record wound up winning a shit ton of Grammys. And so it's not Ready to Be Nice, although I do like that song, but I love the album is The Long Way Around, or I think that's what the album is. And the song is The Long Way Around, and that is the first song on the record. And it's just really, I mean, when I listen to this song, I think about us and the high school that we went to, and how none of us really needed to hang there when we were done. But our friends from high school, they married their high school boyfriends, and they moved into houses in the same zip codes where their parents lived, but I could never follow. Now, I didn't have a pink RV with stars on the ceiling, but I think The Long Way Around for me was moving from Arkansas to Washington to Missouri to Virginia to Chicago to all the places, and just not wanting to conform to what everybody else is doing, I guess. But we all did that. We all kind of took our own long way around. You guys, had military careers and lived in fantastic, exotic, fun places. But yeah, I love what comes out of this song. And I love that the Chicks were able to kind of get back to, telling their own story, sharing their need, I guess, through country music, and not being apologetic about it. And that in this particular case, it paid off for them, and they still are doing exceptionally well as artists, and they still make really fun videos. But since this album, they've certainly taken on a lot more controversial material as well. So anyway, that's my number 2, The Long Way Around by the Chicks.
I like it. I have one honorable mention.
Yeah.
I felt like this list wouldn't be right without Shania. Most of the stuff I love of hers is before 2000, but this one is from 2002, and that's the song Up. And it's one of my favorite songs to jog to, because the basis of the song is there's nowhere to go but up from here, because so the song goes, it's about as bad as it could be. So everything is going wrong in her day. So there's nowhere to go but up from here. And it's fun. And I love the way the song builds. And I love Shania. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it other than she's adorable, and it's a really fun song. So that's my honorable mention, Up, Shania Twain.
Oh, Annie, we are sisters. My honorable mention is Up by Shania Twain. And I went as far as to say the green version too, because what I loved so much about the Up album is the decision that she made to actually she released 3 versions of all of those songs, and that's a pretty big record. I think there are 14 or 15 tracks on each one, but she recorded a pop version, a country version, and then there was the blue album that you could buy separately with the international flair. But for this list, I like Up, the green version, from that album of the same name. And there's so many other tunes on that song, but I feel exactly the same way that you do about this song. This is a song that you need to hear like in the grocery store when you're grabbing dinner on the way home and you've had a really, really shitty day. And you're right, because there's nowhere, no place but up from here.
Yep.
And it is super happy. I love the build as well. And I do love me some Shania, but I'm also with you that my favorite Shania songs are all pre-2000. The Come On Over album is just that is her most epic release contribution to the world. Every track on that album is solid. So, yep.
Okay. I'm ready to reveal my number one. And it's
I'm
funny
ready to
because
hear it.
just walked through the door, and what perfect timing, because my number one song is the song we danced to at our wedding. Our first official song that we danced to as husband and wife, and that was Your Man by Josh Turner.
You Are Man?
It's the funniest thing. When the first year we lived together, we made all these road trips back and forth between Fort Polk, Louisiana, and his hometown of Canton, Texas. And when we sang this song, and when Josh Turner sings Baby Lock the Door and Turn the Lights Down Low, he would look over at me with one eyebrow up, and the look on his face it's one of the sexiest looks. Saying it brought me so much joy, and it turned me on like nobody's business. And it became our songs. I mean, we had so many songs. If we could go back, we would have danced to a different song at our wedding. But that's the one it was. And, lots of nights, lock the door, turn the lights down low, put some music on that's soft and slow. And that's it. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. And that song was one of the songs we felt, that in our early years of marriage, that's our song. And that's my number one. There you go.
That's beautiful. I like Josh Turner's voice so much. It is low and slow. And I can't remember what song of his I remember listening to on the radio back in the day. I don't think it was that one. I'll have to figure this out. But I do, he's a handsome man. Okay. Yes. My number one is from the Alanis Morissette of country music, and that would be Gunpowder and Lead from Miranda Lambert. I love to sing this song at karaoke. I think that's probably the reason that I enjoy it so much. But here's a dude, we talked about Goodbye Earl a little earlier. Here's a woman who knows that her dude is getting out of jail in a little bit, and he's never been good to her, so he's probably coming after her. And she's had, a 6-pack in already. But if he dares come up that door, she's going to show him what little girls are made of, and that's gunpowder and lead. And his fist is big, but my gun's bigger, and he'll find out when I pull the trigger. And I just love the, I don't know, the speed in the chorus, and it's empowerment, but it is a little bit angry. And there is a big old shotgun boom at the end, and the fella going, So yeah, I love Miranda Lambert. I've loved her ever since she was the first, I don't even think she won the first season of Nashville Star, but she was on season 1 of Nashville Star with Me and Charlie Talkin'. And then there was Kerosene, and then this album, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, came out. And this is just an excellent, fun, super angry, but still empowering song.
Love it.
Gunpowder and Lead.
I haven't listened to that in forever, so I need to listen to it again. I'll just have to listen to this playlist, won't I?
Oh, this is going to be a rockin' playlist. So why don't we do a quick little recap?
Okay, so my honorable mention was Up, Shania Twain, and then from 5 to 1, Goodbye Earl, The Chicks, The Good Stuff, Kenny Chesney, All Right, Darius Rucker, People Are Crazy by Billy Currington, and number 1, Your Man by Josh Turner.
All right. I also had Shania Twain Up as my honorable mention. And I should point out, you guys, you'll see this on YouTube, but you can't see it in the podcast, but Andy and I are both wearing our Go-Go's t-shirts today. So, rockin' hardcore sisters do things Likewise. Shania Twain up. Number 5, I Go Back, Kenny Chesney. Number 4, When God-Fearing Women Get the Blues, Martina McBride. Number 3, My Give a Damn's Busted, Jody Messina. Number 2, The Long Way Around by the Chicks. And number 1, Gunpowder and Lead, Miranda Lambert. And this also is part of our special country music series. And we have at least one more country music episode to record. And yeah, let us know, people, if any of these songs resonate for you. If you think we're so crap, we're not above